So we had Scream 7 hit theaters recently. Man, I want to go check it out. Let's get into this. So look, I am a Scream fan. I like all the movies. I think when it comes to the Scream franchise overall, that it's a pretty solid horror franchise. In my opinion, there really hasn't been a bad movie within the Scream franchise. But when it comes to Scream 7, was that the exception? Look, going into this movie, I didn't really have high expectations just due to like the controversy surrounding this movie and just some of the backlash, some of the things that were going on behind the scenes with this movie. It's not like I went to this movie expecting a whole lot. I just really wanted to go into this movie and just wanted another good solid movie in the franchise of Scream. But the question is, was Scream 7 actually that? And just off the bat, after checking out this movie, I gotta say this one is definitely probably going to be my least favorite in the franchise. It's sad to say, but it is true. It's sad to say that this one's going to be probably the weakest in the franchise. I don't know if time will tell that this movie actually goes up for me or not. Time will tell. Let's see what happens. But as of right now, after checking it out the one time, I gotta say this one is probably going to go as the weakest in the franchise and probably my least favorite in the franchise. When it comes to the core group of kids that we get in this franchise, of course, Sydney's daughter and her friends are in this movie. That was one of the main points where I really just wasn't invested in any of those characters. They honestly felt like cannon fodder, and I was kind of forgetting some of their names when the movie was going on throughout the movie. Aside from the dynamic that we get between Sydney and her daughter, I really wasn't invested in any other character storylines in this movie. I'll say one of the good things about this movie, honestly, was probably the actual slays themselves. We got some pretty good slay scenes going on in this movie. I wouldn't say necessarily my favorites, but they were actually, pretty gory and bloody, and, they're actually pretty good in this movie. I'll say that's probably one of the more good contributing factors about this movie. And we maybe got a couple good suspenseful scenes throughout the movie, the way that they have Ghostface like in the shadows sometimes, or you just see a partial of his face and stuff like that. That's kind of a suspenseful act going on. They're not too bad actually. But man, can we talk about the reveals, the actual Ghostface killers themselves? This one has got to be the worst Ghostface killers, the worst reveal on who it actually was in the whole franchise. I honestly disliked all this about that reveal. The whole motivation behind her becoming Ghostface also was no, I did not like it. I'm sorry, I didn't like it. And I was able to guess the Ghostface killers beforehand. It's kind of predictable also. But yeah, like I said, this one is definitely going to go down as probably the weakest and most disliked Ghostface reveals, killers, whatever, motivation, all that for me, at least personally in the franchise. And with this movie, it really feels like they're trying to play on a nostalgia bait in this one. Like it kind of comes across a little bit, kind of comes across almost like a little desperate in a way. We're trying to bait you with nostalgia throughout the movie. Now I know it seems like I'm bashing on this movie pretty badly, but like I said, this one's probably going to go down as my least favorite or the weakest in the franchise for me. Now, with that being said, I don't think it's as bad as other people are saying it is. I think there's still some not necessarily redeeming qualities, but there's some stuff in here that you might get out of this movie. Compared to other horror movies, this one is still a little bit more not necessarily good, but still somewhat better than you would get with bad horror movies. But yeah, just some of the things in this movie was kind of not necessarily ridiculous, but they were kind of like questionable. Definitely questionable. There were some questionable things in this movie. So yeah, Scream 7. Did y'all watch it? Did y'all check it out? What did y'all think about it? Man, let's see what happens in the next one.